Hey guys, welcome to codingbootcamps.com. This is intermediate JavaScript and jQuery with JSON and Ajax. My name is Kaustubh Ghargi. I am a senior mean stack developer. I have over 5 years of experience with web development and cloud technologies. I have a master's degree from Illinois Institute of Technology, and I am also a co-founder of Indicate Digital, which is a startup based in Chicago, which I founded with my colleague from IntelliFlow, from IIT. I also founded IntelliFlow Systems, which is a Pune-based startup where we focus more on the Azure technologies. I also worked as a full stack developer at 1871, which is a startup incubator in Chicago, for over 2 years. And I have been teaching with High School Technology Services um, since 2016, and I have been focused more on the web development as well as cross-platform mobile development and Linux development courses for students from US and Canada. My current focus right now is just the web application development courses and not the cross-platform mobile application. You can check out my page on codingbootcamps.com where I have different courses that I take, and you can also follow codingbootcamps.com to on social media to get more updates on my courses. So in this course, before we begin this course, you need to have a basic knowledge of HTML and CSS, as well as knowledge of JavaScript. So I recommend you take my previous course, which was an introduction to JavaScript, where I cover the fundamentals of JavaScript programming, as well as how to use JavaScript to manipulate the front end of your web page, so you can add more uh, custom features such as button click events and the interactivity that usually requires for the web applications. In this project, or sorry, in this course, what we are going to do is we are going to do a quick refresher of JavaScript programming. So this will be the fundamental concepts of JavaScript, which include the lexical structure of the language, expressions, types, variables, functions, arrays, and loops. After that, we'll be covering the more important aspect of JavaScript that we will be using. So we will dive deeper into the functions that we have covered in the earlier JavaScript course, but we will actually expand on it more. So we will understand the different types of functions, the parameters, and the returns that the functions require, as well as we will learn about manipulating the arrays. Okay, and how there are pre-built functions in JavaScript to manipulate the arrays. In the next section, we are going to be covering the um, we're going to be covering the manipulating the user information. So in that case, we'll be understanding the Navigator window screen objects that are provided within the web browser, and we'll understand how we can get more information about the user's web browser, and depending on that, we can customize the user experience. In the next session, we are going to be covering JavaScript and jQuery on a much more advanced level. We will understand how to use jQuery and how to add it to the web page, as well as understanding the document object model that the HTML has, and also how to manipulate that document object model using jQuery. So that means by selecting various elements on the page, we can add more content, remove content, and we can make it much more interactive than we could with simple JavaScript. Okay, the next thing we're going to be understanding is how to access these elements using jQuery and how to add events on top of it. So events is a much more interesting concept that we'll be covering. And if you want to cover web application development using any of the frameworks like Angular or React or any one of them, events is a key concept that you have to understand, and we will cover that in jQuery. After that, we'll cover the animation and the effects. So jQuery has pretty good animation library that is in it, and they have some very well-defined functions which we will use to add to the web page, as well as we'll create some swapping images like slideshows on the web page, as well as we'll understand how to implement navigation much better way in a much better way than simple JavaScript using jQuery. And after that, we can expand more on the interface with jQuery, where we will see how we can organize the content in tabs and panels, and add sliders to your website, as well as determining the size and position of the page elements, adding tooltips, and then providing the best user experience that we can. In the last section, what we will do is we will cover JSON and Ajax client-side applications. So we will actually fetch the data from a third-party service where we want to display that data onto our web page. So that is the most important aspect of using jQuery, and especially Ajax Ajax client of jQuery and working with JSON data. All right, so the projects that we are going to be building on after we have completed all of this will be, the first one will be the image swap gallery. Like I mentioned, we will be creating a slideshow of images. The next is we're going to be creating a login page. So a login page is a pretty common web application implementation that you see on any of the websites that you use, like for example Amazon. All of them have a login page, so we'll be building a login page. In the last project, we'll be using the third-party API for COVID tracker. So as you know, the 2020 is a year that will be marked in our history books as the COVID-19 year, and it actually upended everything. So we'll be building some useful tools to track this disease, and we'll be implementing our skills to build this tool. Okay. So what do you learn by finishing this course? Okay, so you have the basic understanding of JavaScript. Now you have much more advanced understanding of JavaScript. Now you really understand how to use the advanced level JavaScript and jQuery to improve upon the user experience, and how to get and fetch more data from the backend systems, how to organize the data, how to transform the data, and make it presentable to your end user. And after that, you can actually work on taking much more advanced courses such as frameworks. Okay, so jQuery is just a library that is built on top of JavaScript. But if you want much more capability, if you're going to be building a web application that caters to thousands of different people, then a framework will be much more helpful. And you can explore on different frameworks, the front end as well as the back end frameworks, in all of our classes so mentioned over here. So I personally teach Node.js, Express.js, and MongoDB. I strongly encourage you to take Node.js since that's the backend implementation of JavaScript. You will understand how to build backend, as well as then later on you can take AngularJS frameworks, as well as React. All right, so that is it. I hope you take this course, and I will see you in the next session. Take care.